Hey guys, welcome to your first project of our final unit of the school year. This project focuses on things we find during the spring and summertime. So during the spring and summer, we typically find things that have new life. We find new plants, we find baby animals, we find lots of fresh things all around as places around the world get warmer, okay? So specifically in the United States, typically in the spring, this is when we see all of our flowers grow. So for our first project, that's what we're going to be focusing on, is flowers, okay? So just like how all these things grow, they grow because Jesus has them grow, and he can grow us in our lives as well, and he can give us new life whenever we need that. So for today, we're going to be using some white paper, 2 pieces, some tape, as we're actually going to tape our papers together, and then some coloring tools. I'm going to be using some colored pencils, maybe some markers. You could also use crayons or whatever else you have. I'm going to start by taping my 2 papers together like this. I don't want a really long paper. Instead, I want a wider, fatter rectangle like this. So I'm going to start by putting just one piece of tape, one small piece together, and then I'm going to tape it together so that it's just really strong. So I've taped my 2 papers together. Here you can see my tape line, and then I did one piece on each side. The goal of this project is you're going to be drawing your hands like they're holding a bouquet of fresh flowers. So you're going to be tracing your hands, one here and one here, like this, overlapping, so that it looks like your hands are holding the flowers. So let me trace one hand and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so far I've traced one hand. Now, if you have somebody to help you trace your other hand, you can do that, or you could turn your paper around and then trace the same hand if you're going to do it by yourself, okay? Well, when you trace this hand, you don't want to draw on top of the other fingers. If you start to go into that area, just stop drawing in that space. Let me show you what that looks like. So, you can see here that it looks like my one hand is in front of the other one. That's because when I did this hand, I would have it go not through it, but pretend it's going behind it, okay? So now the next thing we're gonna do is I want you to color your hands. One thing you can do to make them look more real is you can add fingernails to your hands. To add fingernails, you just wanna draw little lines at the top so it looks something like this right here. So go ahead and please color your hands. So I've colored my hands. I'm going to show you a couple details I added. I added the little lines that are on your hands that show you where you bend them. I also added my rings. If you were wearing bracelets, you could do that too. I also painted my fingernails because I normally have my fingernails either pink or red, so I made them pink. The next thing we're going to do is this is going to be where our flowers are, because remember, you're going to be holding them. So next I'm going to be drawing my flower stems, which are the green sticks that hold and support up the flower, okay? So I'm going to draw a couple of them, and let me show you how I do this. I'm going to be using a green marker for this. To start, I'm just going to draw one line straight down the middle, just like this, okay? That's going to be my middle stem. And from here, I'm going to start drawing a couple around the outside. Make sure you do not draw them on top of your hands. They need to go behind your hands, just like this. So now I have 1, 2, 3 flower stems. See how they go behind my hands? And I can even see them between my fingers. Let me draw a few more. So now I have 5, okay? So you can leave it at 5, or you can add as many as you want. You can also add leaves to these. So for example, I've added some leaves at the bottom. I could also add leaves up here. Now, what I'm going to show you to do next week is how to make the flowers at the top. I'm going to show you how to draw them or other ways you can make them too, either using paper or other recycled materials. So I look forward to seeing you next week.